G'day! In today's video I'm replacing the display and frame on a Samsung Galaxy A04s. This particular one is a budget model in the A series by Samsung, and I've recently received some parts from AliExpress, and hopefully these are suitable and good in quality. But I guess we'll find out. Proceeding, I bought the frame and screen, as I don't usually like, unless I have to. I know with the Samsungs it's like $3 more to buy it with a frame, and I know the fitment's going to be perfectly fine and it's going to be stuck down perfectly well. So if you're definitely doing this at home, save yourself your time and sanity for an overall better quality finished product and buy it as a screen and frame. With that out of the way, let's begin. So I think first of all we're going to have to take the SIM tray out, located up here. Push the SIM tray out, and then I'll zoom you guys in a minute. Put that out of the way. Zoom in. There we go. Now I should be able to use a metal pry. Actually, it's been a little bit easier for me as I've already opened this up to find the exact part I needed to order, as there was quite a few versions of this phone. There we go. I have to use a plastic pry tool to work your way around. This one suffered a few knocks before, as you can see. Go. Now do be careful of the fingerprint scanner, located here. This one's popped off too, which does look to be the cover for the screws. Now I'm going to predict that all the screws here are of the same length. Should be able to use my nail to disconnect the fingerprint scanner, like that. And I'm going to move this out of the way. Same with that one. I'll bring this one into frame. Go move that one up. And now it should be a matter of undoing quite a few screws here. Now I don't believe this is the genuine Samsung frame. Something about it doesn't seem right. Seems to be missing a little bit there. Maybe completely wrong. But there are definitely a lot of phones rocking up in Samsung boxes that are certainly not Samsung phones. There we go. Now, so far all these screws have been the same length. Go. This bit here should lift up, and we have one screw down here. Granted, you should make sure your phone is off as well. That connected that I undid down the bottom there was for the LCD display. Go. There. I should be able to flick this up with this, I reckon. No. There we go. That one now out of the way. Disconnect the battery, disconnect the screen connector. The flex cable actually is by the same brand, so it's probably going to be highly likely that it is an actual Samsung panel. Now move that out of the way. I'm going to move it as a daughter board, the main board and the daughter board at the same time. Take out the single screw here. And we should be able to lift this up. There we go. Up, out of the way. I do need to take out the vibrating motor. and I do need to take out the earpiece speaker. Earpiece speaker is usually very or something I wouldn't recommend to remove, but in this instance we're going to have to. I'm going to slide the tweezers over here. Now I am using this under heat, so this is going to come apart a bit easier for me than it will for you. If you can apply heat to it, it's definitely recommended doing. That came off ridiculously easy for me, so you will have to be very careful as this part does like to separate. Slide that over here. Just drop it down like so. And just see what else needs to be moved. So far I don't think anything else does. There's a moisture detection sensor. We'll stick it here, I'm assuming. Which I'll move over to the new one. And vibration motor goes in here. Drop. As I said, I'm not going to disconnect that antenna. I'll leave that antenna connected down here. So now if I undo this one as well, put it off just for a second, and lift this out. Compare with what I need to move. I need to move the loudspeaker. Similar scenario as before, but this heat's going to make it a lot easier. Ooh. As I said that, it has not. Spin it around, pry under. It's tried to separate. That's how we should be looking when we're out. As you can see, as I said about it separating. Don't let it separate too far else or rip. But right now that should still be connected and should still operate just fine. As long as those wires are still attached, we should be okay. Squeeze that back together. Line it up on here. Drop it in. Push down. There we go. Next up, it's probably one of the more dangerous parts of the whole thing. It's taking out this battery. This battery is an absolute pain to remove. There are pull tabs? No, there are not pull tabs. I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol, which is basically a cheat code for battery removal. It softens the adhesive and I can usually get it out quite easily. If you do bend the battery too much, it will break and potentially combust. And if you do puncture it with a pair of tweezers or a screwdriver, it will potentially combust also. So there is a lot of forewarning with this one. There we go, that's lifting for me. I lift it and push it a bit further. It's completely eaten up the adhesive down here on the battery. Minimal, slight little bulge there from putting pressure on it. But that is within tolerance, it's perfectly fine. Next up, I need to put some double-sided tape. I'm going to turn the heat pad off now, as I'm now done with the old chassis of a phone, this broken one. And I'll bring in the new one. So to begin with, I want to stick down the battery. Just going to use a couple of strips of adhesive from there. And that should be perfectly fine. There we go. There. It's not like the battery's going to go anywhere, but it stops it rattling around, potentially wearing on the flex cable and damaging it that way. Okay. This one. Battery just kind of goes in there, sits down. There we go. Now we just need to run the antenna cable down in here. So I'm just going to loosely sit this in here. I do have to also take off a couple of other things. 1, 2, 3, flip, sit, push, go. Put that screw back in for that one. To here. Now just push this into the groove, continue down, loosely sit it, and keep going. It should go in there like so. Wants to escape straight away. And black screw once more. Put that in. Click that down. There's a little hole that needs to protrude through. Flip this over, connect up the display at the top here. From here you could potentially test out the phone if you like. I'm pretty confident these ones are going to be fine. There we go. Connect it up now. This needs to go back on down here. And then you just need to put your screws back in. Now they're going to be a bit harder to go back in because the plastic hasn't had screws in it before. I'm using a fair bit more torque to tighten that up. Go, screen, next up, connect up the battery, screw in, antenna connected, cover back on, push down, click it in, screws go back into that one too, and then you're basically nearly on the home stretch. After putting these screws in, we need to put the camera cover back on. And reconnect the fingerprint scanner, and then we're basically done from there. There. Oop, actually, that's why that one came off. That bent slightly. This needs to be put on first. Just line up over the top, push down, should kind of click into position. Put these back on. That way. Push in, fold over, clamp, push down, click into position. Go, and then from there, you've hopefully got your A04s Samsung sorted out and good to go. Hit the power button. This is probably flat at the moment, I'm assuming. Yes, we'll be going to charge. Anyway, hope that helps you, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.